For this project, I started with a 29 by 35 inch picture frame that I had actually picked up when I was driving around looking for garage sales. It was in a neighborhood with garage sales, and they had a whole bunch of picture frames sitting at the bottom of the driveway with a free sign on it. And when I got out to look at them, this was really the only salvageable one that I could find, so I grabbed it. And I took the paper off the back with the razor. I'm using my little tool to get all the staples out so that I'm able to get the cardboard out. I do decide to leave the glass in instead of removing it first and doing the glue around it, because I just do not feel like the Elmer's glue is substantial enough to hold this in place, and I do not want to risk breaking the glass. So what I end up doing is taking silicone caulk and putting around the perimeter of the back of the frame. This serves two purposes. It helps to hold the glass in place, and it helps to prevent resin leaks. Now, once the resin has cured on the other side, that will also permanently adhere the glass to the frame. But this caulk is really pretty substantial and will hold it. The E6000 that you just saw there was actually a corner of the frame that was coming apart, so I used the E6000 to glue it back together and put a clamp on it and let that dry overnight along with the silicone caulk. So next, I actually was in HOMEGOODS and found this bead curtain, you would call it, for $5. It was on clearance, and I thought, oh, look at all those beads I can take off of there. But as it turns out, when I took it apart, it seems that all the beads are actually, I thought they would slide off. They're actually attached. So you would have to cut each one, and then there's a little string kind of sticking out of it. So you'd have to remove that real close with a razor blade. So I thought, oh, that's not worth it. What else could I do with it? So I decided I'm going to create a Christmas tree out of it. And I pretty much took the curtain apart. I measured out for the center of the frame and put a little piece of tape there. I'm really bad at centering things, so I figured I better do it this way. And then I put a piece of tape at the very bottom to show where the bottom of the Christmas tree is supposed to end. And then I cut several strands of the gold beads and started outlining a Christmas tree until I thought I, had the width that I wanted. Now, the one mistake that I did make, and if I had to do it again, I'd do it different. So I started at the top and cut it at the bottom, which is okay for the very beginning to get it started. But after that, you should really start from the bottom so that the bottom row is even, because as you move it around to make it wider, they kind of the beads land in different areas, so it becomes a little jagged or uneven at the bottom. So anyway, I decided to hold this in place. I'm going to use UV resin. And with UV resin, you need to wear a respirator. I don't know if it's just me. I don't see anything on the container that says no VOCs, and the smell bothers my sinuses a lot. So that's why you have to wear gloves with it, and I think it's in your best interest to use a respirator. So I just take my UV resin and I squirt it on top of the very point, the top of my Christmas tree, and then I put the UV light on it. Now that the very top is adhered to the glass, I can move the bottom ones around to get it exactly like I want it, because the top won't move. Then I start setting more strands in, one piece at a time, starting at the top and cutting them off at the bottom. And if I had to do it again, once I got the preliminary outline of the tree, I would start at the bottom and then cut it off at the top, because it's the bottom that you need to have really straight, whereas the top you can kind of fill in, you won't notice it as much. And it isn't until I get towards the end of creating this tree that I realize I should be cutting them at the top and trying to make them even at the bottom. So here I am going one strand at a time, putting the UV resin on and then putting the UV light on it. And I'm just trying to make sure that I have that placed in the center again, and that it's spaced evenly. I have a real problem with spacing things evenly. So this is how I continue for the rest of the tree. I put the UV resin on and put the light on it and continue to put the different strands on one at a time. And here it is all done. Just kind of showing it to you like this. And then I did find a star up at Hobby Lobby that I wasn't sure if I wanted it gold or red, so I got it a neutral color so that I could go ahead and spray it. And I put these little styrofoam balls on there, red and then red and gold. And so I decided to do the star red. So I sprayed it with red spray paint and then put all the sprinkles on it, or the glitter on it, you know, hoping it would stick. But honestly, if I had to do it again, I would use Elmer's glue so that it would stay real sticky, and then put the glitter on it, because a lot of the glitter fell off even though I shook it off and that and got into the resin. So I think it's in your best interest to do it another way. I have little bells that I'm using for the trunk of the tree, and isn't that a pretty star at the top? I used the red. And then here I have some snowflakes that I had gotten on TEMU, and I peeled those off and just went ahead and put them all over the glass. I thought those were real pretty, and they kind of have a clear, a little bit of clear is around the edges, but you don't see it once you pour the resin on. Next, I mixed up my resin. My resin that I'm using today is KS resin. It's a 1:1 ratio resin that you mix slowly in a cup for 3 to 4 minutes, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom to ensure thorough mixing, and as slow as you can to help prevent bubbles. Let it set for a few minutes before using it. Some of the bubbles will dissipate during that time. So the other thing is, I feel like this resin is very sensitive to cold temperatures, and the optimal curing temperature is 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I drizzle it over all of the beads first and the little styrofoam balls that I have on there. And those styrofoam balls I got sometime last year, and I either got them at Hobby Lobby or Dollar Tree. So after I feel like I have the tree all covered, I go ahead and I put it over the bells, and then I get another container of resin and do it up around the sides and into the corners. I use my little silicone tool to move it around and make sure everything's covered. So for this project, I ended up using 5 6-ounce cups of resin, so 30 ounces of resin. And after I mixed it, I went and looked on the calculator. I didn't look before, and I think it says like 35 ounces of resin. So I thought, I always think I use too much resin, but maybe not. So I could have used a little bit more. And use a toothpick to try to get any sediment out of there or move items around. I also use the kitchen torch to get rid of bubbles. I get down eye level and look at it really close and try to turn the project is a good idea, because you see different things from different angles. And after my project's done, I always come back every 15 minutes and look to check for placement, to check for sediment, and also to check for air bubbles, and retorch is necessary. For some reason, sometimes when you come back, I see little hairs like they have floated to the top. I don't know why I didn't see them the first time, but like I said, I always come back every 15 minutes for about 3 or 4 times after the project is finished. Again, the best temperature for KS resin to cure at is 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It is in your best interest to read the directions for the resin that you are using, because every resin is different. Hey everyone, didn't that turn out pretty? I thought that was such a cool idea. So there's not one piece of glass on this, so I guess you can't call it glass art, but maybe resin art. And I don't know, so I used the entire bead curtain for this, except for, whoops, that small amount right there. So anyway, I thought it was real cute, and I had said in the video that if I had to do that again, because the glitter was just going into the resin and I was using a toothpick. I didn't show you all of it, but I spent a lot of time pulling glitter back out of the resin. I think if you put like an Elmer's glue on it and then sprinkle the glitter on it, it would stick better. I was relying on the damp spray paint to hold the glitter in place, and that probably wasn't the best idea. So anyway, but you know, all in all, it turned out pretty. And these were kind of cool. These were from TEMU. They were just like a couple of bucks, all different size. I used the smaller ones. There was even, you know, larger snowflakes on there that could have gone on. And then before the video, after the video cut out, I put some tube confetti, gold tube confetti at the bottom. I had actually tried to put some fire glass that I had painted with the white iridescent medium, but I thought, oh, that just doesn't look right because there's not white anywhere else in it. So I decided to keep it just gold and red theme. So I think I need to clean the glass on the back again. It's just, this was really filthy. Those pictures I picked up, or the picture I picked up on the side of the road, all those pictures there, none of them were salvageable except for this one. So this was free. This was free, and this cost $5. And I think these little things were from the Dollar Tree last year. And well, that was a couple bucks, but the resin is what really cost the most. And you know, here I think all the time that I'm using too much resin, but when I went back to the resin calculator, it said that I could have used like 5 ounces more. So maybe I'm not using too much resin. I don't really ever look at the resin calculator. I just kind of guesstimate, which you really probably shouldn't do, but I do. And I always thought, somebody mentioned to me once, oh, you use a lot of resin. And I said, yeah, I do. I like it to be all, you know, covered nice. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is the last Christmas tree, I promise. Next week is Christmas. And I hope you guys all have Merry Christmas, Happy New Year with your families and friends. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoyed the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I'll still be going on the Facebook page the next couple of weeks over the holidays. So come join us there. It's a great site to learn and to share. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.